I thought defensively we gave really, really good effort. I thought they, really, to their credit, made some tough shots. Like we got them in good spots, areas of the floor. Even when we kind of switched some matchups and they were trying to post Canner, I thought we did a pretty good job of helping. I thought the turnovers in the first half, we had 11, hurt us. We only had 3 in the second half, which was a positive. So I think taking care of the basketball is one thing. We didn't close the quarter real well. We were down by 4, kind of stayed that way for a little bit. And then obviously they kind of went on a run there. I thought we did a better job, generating shots there in that second half, more so than we did maybe in that second quarter. I think Paul being out, I thought like we weathered that storm a little bit just because he picked up his third so early in the second. And we actually, I think, got up by 7 there, towards the end of the second quarter and didn't finish that quarter well. And then, it kind of went back and forth early in the third, and then they obviously kind of went on a run and really were able to open it up. And I think some of it was, we had some pick and roll coverages that kind of little got free on. But I thought for the most part, our guys defended them well, and I think to their credit, when they made some of the shots they made, I think it speaks to their shot-making ability at times.
All season long, we've talked about offensive pace and ball movement. Did you feel like that was lacking some last night? I think you had 6 no-pass jump shots and I think 18 non-paint twos.
Yeah, I think that happened, sometimes in some situations. I didn't think that maybe our ball movement was as good at times in the game as it was, during the stretch you're talking about. And I think that it magnifies it because I think when those guys are making some of the shots that they made, what happens is we're not making those shots, so to speak, that would maybe be somewhat similar, because I thought McCollum got in some areas of the floor, where we contested pretty well, and he made some shots. Same thing with Lillard. And then I think when we're missing those shots, it certainly looks that we maybe could have generated better shots, And I think as the game went on, I felt like we did that, a little bit better offensively. I think the potential assists, for us as a team last night that we kind of really try to track was really, really high for us, So I think it was like 55% of our shots were coming off passes, which is you want to be in catch and shoot situations, and we didn't necessarily shoot that great in the game.
Billy, you guys have not over the last couple of years and now this year have not been a good road playoff team. Is there anything specific, whether it's just kind of managing runs or momentum or taking care of the ball, or anything that's more important on the road this time of year?
Yeah, I think all those things, the momentum, in games is when you have it, you want to keep it, and then when you kind of lose it, how quickly can you stop it? Because it's going to happen. We got off to not a great start in the game yesterday, and then all of a sudden we kind of went on a run, and then they kind of came back, and then we got back up by 7. They came back, so they diffused some runs. Same thing happened. We got down by double digits, 15 or 18 or whatever it was. We kind of fought our way back and then got it inside of single digits. The games are going to go like that, so you got to be able to handle and manage those runs, and then you got to figure out ways when a team is on a run how you stop it. And being as efficient as you can on offense. You can't foul. Giving up offensive rebounds, like some of those little things like that. Kind of magnify that. So tomorrow in the game, we're going to have to be able to do that. We'll have to handle runs in the game. We're going to have to handle those kind of situations.
Is that harder to manage when the crowd is against you, the team is more comfortable at home? Is that stuff?
Yeah, I think always teams are going to be more comfortable playing at home when the crowd's behind you and things like that. I think that just is normal. You deal with that. But these guys have played on the road so many times. It's not like they don't know what they're walking into. Where you have a group of guys going into an environment that they've never seen before. They've played in Portland a ton. They know that there'll be a great crowd. There was great crowds at our place too, so I think Portland knew they were going to come in here and play in a great environment, and we're going to go there and play in a great environment.
When you guys were getting good shots at the rim, you mentioned it last night too, you're missing them. Why is that? What's the adjustment?
Yeah, I don't know. We had some plays around the basket. We just, weren't really able to finish. I thought we had some fast break opportunities that we didn't capitalize on. Those things sometimes happen, but I think those are the kind of shots you want, at the rim. We just didn't finish really, really well in around the basket for a good portion of the game. And for our team, when we've been kind of up and down shooting, when you get those kind of shots, you got to really, really capitalize on them. And I didn't think that we capitalized as well as we needed to do.
Last year, you guys went down 3-1. Obviously, weren't able to come back, but did you learn anything about the mentality at this point?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing right now is it's obviously the first team to 4 games, and they're a lot closer to that than we are. But we have to play a game tomorrow, and the biggest thing is to try to get the next game back here. And we've got to put everything we have into this game like we have every other game. And, I think our defense will be really, really important. I think our rebounding will be really important in the game. I think us generating really, really good offense, by taking care of the ball. Not giving them maybe easy runouts or finishes, on some turnovers. I thought some of the live ball turnovers in game 2 hurt us. Some of the turnovers in that first half hurt us. We've got to be able to, play well both offensively and defensively.
What did you do today, or will you, with the team?
We're going to meet out at the plane, and then we'll have a team meeting tonight, and then we'll have shoot around tomorrow. So we'll staff meet the rest of the afternoon and go through just different adjustments or changes. We did some things different because we got down, put Jeremy at the 5, and, we'll talk about that a little bit. We'll talk about, some different things we did on some coverages that maybe hurt us in game 3 that I think were better for us, what they may potentially try to adjust to. And then, try to lay out, a plan for those guys tonight, through film, and then go on the court tomorrow and work on those things, in a limited amount of time, and then have to go out and play.
Billy, what do you look at as sort of the pros and cons of that lineup with Jeremy at the 5?
Well, I think, one is the spacing part of it I thought was important. I think because we weren't maybe finishing or getting stuff downhill at the basket, we missed some of those shots. I thought putting Jeremy in at the 5 just stretched the floor a little bit. It gave us another really good roll because Steven's such a great roll to the basket. Jeremy's also, when he's in that situation, can do the same thing. I think it gave us the flexibility to kind of maybe trap McCollum a little bit more with Jeremy out there, trap Little a little bit more. It gave us when, Jeremy and Paul were in pick and roll, we could do different things with those guys. So we were able to do a lot of, just different things. And, the hard part, I think, for Steven and Nerlens a lot of times is because they are so fast, is that, when those guys are coming off screening actions, is them taking on our bigs, and then how you handle those kind of actions with your protection and your coverage becomes really, really critical. So we did some different things. They obviously went big, and then we tried to go small, coming out of that game 3. I think the other part of it was they played a little bit bigger in game 3 than maybe they had the first 2 previous games. They did it a little bit in the first quarter of game 1, and they kind of went away with it, and they pretty much played small with their second unit, and then they came back with Aminu and Harkless and kind of went with their starters to close the game. And then game 3, they played that about 5 minutes in the second quarter till about, I don't know, maybe 8 minutes in the fourth, where they played bigger with Leonard and Collins or Leonard and Cantor. We've obviously against that have done some different lineups as well.
Yeah, how do you decide when you want to make them adjust to your lineups versus when you want to match what they're doing or go the opposite?
Well, I don't think that their substitutions have always been relatively consistent. If you look at it, I think if you look at their rotations from games 1 through 4, they haven't had. I mean, they did not play Layman in the first game. They played Layman in the second game. Game 3, they didn't play Turner really at all in the second half. He played 5 minutes. They didn't really play big very much. They played Leonard and Collins together. So how is the game going? How is the team that's on the floor playing and performing? If we're on a run, obviously you kind of want to stick with that. I thought our second unit there, coming in at the end of the first and then even the second, did a really nice job for us. They played very, very well. And then we got down, and just tried to do something to kind of maybe inject or infuse some energy there to get back. I thought that was good. I think Paul made a 3 to close the third. We got it within 11, and then we got it down into single digits, and then, they kind of got it back up again, and that's when just decided to do something a little bit different. So a lot of it, I think sometimes if you go in with a plan, at this moment we're going to do this, at this moment we're going to do that. Well, what happens when Paul picks up 3 fouls? What happens when Terrence is in foul trouble? What happens when maybe something's not going as well? I think you have to adjust to those things, based on, what they have out there or what you can maybe do to counter some of those things.